so we get the full thing. And today we're gonna start a new painting here. We're gonna paint an interesting challenge. It's gonna be a big head, and that's what we're aiming for, is to paint a big head laying on its side. That's the goal. And let's see, how do I update this live stream? Here we go. Pop into here, go into here, add my pitch for a free Audible trial membership. That's going to be included on this pin message. Yo! O-M to the E-Zoo. O to the M to the E-Zoo. E-Zoo-Zoo. O to the M to the E-Zoo. Right here, right there. Perfect. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick. So what I got going on today, you're painting a giant, big old head. So I'm going to open my doors so that I can let my paint smell escape the apartment. Get some gloves on. This is a fairly large canvas. I'm working on this. Will be a challenge for me because I don't usually paint. Yeah, it's all good, dude. But I don't usually paint this big as for heads. So this is an interesting test for myself, because I'm constantly saying it's probably way easier to paint a head that's big than it is to paint a head that's small, because every minor detail when you're painting really small is like every little detail when you're painting really small, every little micro movement totally changes the painting. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to paint a giant head, and and that's what we're going to do. So I'm thinking I'm going to start to sketch this out here. And let's get started. We're going to not delay. I've been inspired. And here's what I want to do. I want to use a red ochre. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna start doing underpainting. It's gonna be real thin. So we're actually going to start like here. I just want to add like a nice ochre, nice red ochre as our underpainting. Add a little bit of yellow into each area. I'm going to throw in some yellow. Just mix it straight on the canvas. This isn't the right way to do things, by the way. I wouldn't recommend doing this. Even if you knew what you were doing, like, you wouldn't do it this way. And by doing it this way, I mean like directly on the canvas is how you're mixing the colors. Highly not recommended. This is not a tutorial on painting. This is just don't get ahead of myself. What do you mean? Oh. I wish I could like remember the things that I say, because one second I'm saying one thing and the next second I'm totally forgetting and not even remembering what I just said 10 seconds ago. So I lose context of the conversation. But here's what we got to do. Need to prepare this canvas with some nice juicy paint. Let's see. I need some rags. All my rags. Where's all my rags at? All my rags. Let me clean up my space a little bit before I get ahead of myself. Seems Omizu has predicted my dilemma here, so I'm going to clean up my space a little bit and get some fresh rags. Be right back in like 10 seconds. More like 45 seconds. 10 seconds is a little fast for what I need to do. So watch out. So I'm getting my paint nice and juicy, my brush. It's gonna be really wet. It's gonna help us work with this this paint here. Look at all that paint. It's a lot of paint. It's a lot of paint. And the whole purpose right now is just get it spread nicely across. It's your pun for the night. Don't get Omizu. My goodness, dude. Oh, Omizu with the dang puns. My goodness. Does anyone have that like friend who's always slow at getting jokes in real life? Because I'm usually that friend. And you know, like it was really annoying growing up because I had friends that would tell jokes, but they would be so adamant that like they shouldn't have to explain their joke. So I would always just be sitting there and just like pretend like I got it, but I never really did. And you know what? Like I just didn't have friends that like to explain their jokes. So I was always the kid that didn't really get the joke. And I think that really influences my communication, influenced my communication as an adult. In that it's like, you know, don't ask questions because nobody's going to answer you. Nobody feels like it's okay to answer you. And, you know, I'm better at that now, but, you know, we all learn how to better communicate as adults, right? So what am I doing right now? I'm just filling the canvas. That's the only goal right now. Just filling the space on our canvas. Get this up nice and tight against our device here. And everybody, you're in for a surprise when people finally figure out who it is. I mean, honestly, I don't think you can really tell because the head's so big that it's gonna be really hard to tell who it actually is. Not because I'm such a bad painter, cough, but because it's just gonna be really hard to tell. I'm preparing everybody. Alright, so painting the sides, artistic choice. I want the sides to be painted. There we go. Let's add a little bit more juice into this. Make the initial layers really, really thin. Oops, it's dripping. Let's wipe this off. I should put a cloth down where my paint drips so that it doesn't drip. There we go. My partner's always getting mad at me. We actually have arguments, my partner and I. We have arguments about me getting paint on her stuff. So, you know, it is, you do have to be grateful about, you know, people who are willing to deal with living with someone who paints, because, you know, it's an inevitable thing that you're going to get paint on something. You know, it's inevitable. It's unevitable. It's unavoidable. I probably used way too much paint for this process, because basically what's going to happen is I'm going to paint over all of this, and it's all just going to, you know, I'm going to wipe away a lot of it, which, you know, what does that mean? That means that a lot of it's going to go to waste. A lot of it is going to go onto a rag. A lot of it's going to be on a rag, and this side. You know what? Let's do a little flip. Let's do a flip here. Look at this chaos. Look at this madness. Here we go. Okay, let's get this. Go up into here, get this on top. So what's going on? You can only imagine Trump, Elon, Basquiat had the same issue with his partners. Was that the butt of jokes? You know what? I can't say I was the butt of jokes. Or maybe I was, I just didn't know. But it's just no one would ever like explain it to me. So I just kind of had to like learn how to like pretend and laugh along. Or, you know, people would feel like they didn't want to tell a joke around me because I wouldn't laugh, because I wouldn't have gotten it. That was another issue. Let's talk about our childhood development issues. Who else had developmental issues as a child? I did. I need to use a roller. I think Michael Wilbur was the one that recommended that I finally get a roller, and I still haven't done that, but... Basically, the whole point of this is just to stain the surface so that, you know, you don't have like these like funky areas of like changed colors, or like white. You don't have these like areas of like white that you need to paint over. You have like a nice full surface of a wonderful color that you can work on top of, which that is very helpful for. It's just very helpful. It's a good thing to do. There's an actual reason to this madness. Now, other artists might do it differently. I believe it's called like negative painting or something, where you wipe away certain areas to make certain areas darker that suit the overall canvas a little better. I actually enjoy this process a lot, by the way. Just this idea of laying down these huge areas of color is just so fun to me. I would do it all day if I could. If there's an artist out there that wants to hire me just to cover their canvases, that just wants to hire me to cover their canvases like this, I would totally do it. They wanted to hire me as their assistant and just cover huge canvases with paint. Singular color paint. You can contact me at 1-800 call Emmett. All right, Mustafa, how you learn draw with pen at first because you're new? That's a good question. How do you learn to draw with pen? Well, how are you currently drawing with pen, Mustafa? Oh, I need a paint sprayer, yes. Yo, what's up, M-Dub? M to the dubs. M-Dub. Mr. Wilbur. M to the Wilbur. You know, I'm just going to say this, Mustafa, and I don't want to sound mean, but if you want to learn to draw, you should definitely watch a drawing channel. And you know, this is like me saying that with like the most positive intention, right? Because No YouTuber is gonna tell you to go watch a different channel. That's how much I care. Is, you know, if you want to learn to draw, you shouldn't be watching a painting channel. That's like the first thing is like, you know who to watch, what to listen to, where to get your resources. If you want to learn anything, this is like where to learn anything. I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just saying, you know, just pointing out the obvious. Like, because I care so much about people's learning. And if you want to learn, this isn't a learning channel. This is not. This isn't really like an educational channel. It's more like a bunch of people coming in here and they just make fun of my artwork. Yeah. So that's really the first thing is, you know, rather than watching painting, I would go and find a channel of a YouTuber who's streaming right now that's drawing. And, you know, there's got to be at least one. If not here, on TikTok. So that's like the first part, you know? Don't watch a painting channel if you want to learn to draw. And again, you know, my only intention is to, you know, help you figure out, you know, what. That's the first step, really, is just knowing where to begin, knowing what channels to watch, knowing who to listen to, who to follow, things like that. You're right. Finding teachers. Do you have a teacher? Do you have a mentor? Like that's you know, step 1 through 10, right? Finding a mentor, finding a teacher, aka, you know, YouTube channels in this case. And you know, like, I care so much that I would be willing to send you to a different channel because that's what's going to help you the most. You know, other YouTubers, you know, someone might be like, oh yeah, I want him to stay here and I want to explain to him how to draw and like how to get started and really like coach and mentor. And as much as I would be happy to do that, you know, I think the most valuable thing is to, instead of watching a painting channel, find a drawing channel. Okay, so we are done laying this all down. Let me clean out this brush. Dondrell, you dropped out of art class after the mattress videos? Dondrell dropped out. It's okay, man. Only the smart people drop out. Only smart kids and kids that, you know, see that life is bigger than one single class. They're the only ones that drop out. But then it's the ones that don't actually do anything during that time when they drop out that actually, you know, don't go anywhere. But obviously Don Drill is going places, so I don't even need to express that. The Master Blaster. Best place for supplies, estate, and garage sales. Oh, which, speaking of which, David Lynch had an estate sale out here. I didn't go to it, but it was huge news in Los Angeles. Huge news in Los Angeles. All right, so cleaning off my brush. Let's get down to business. Dondrell Lee is in the house. Dondrell Lee Artistry. I just realized that rhymes. Dondrell Lee Artistry. All right, so let's see. Let me grab a painterly brush. I love that word. Let me find a painterly brush. What I really mean is a brush that I could sketch with. trying to find some good brush choices here. You know, I want to use this brush. It's a fairly large brush, but it's a little stiff, so I don't know if it's gonna get the effect that I need. But let me figure out some of the colors. I want to keep this fairly warm, on the warm side. I want the darker browns, and I want the pinks, a little bit of blue. Let me pull out the yellow again. Actually, I'm definitely gonna need some white. Always need white. Also gonna need some yellow. Alright, grab this yellow. Bought a baby grand piano. Amazing, dude. Then turned around and sold it. Actually gave it to a church and took $3,000 tax break. There you go. Look at Michael giving us advice on taxes. You know that these are recorded, right? And that the IRS can potentially see what's being said on this live stream. Just a heads up for anybody, disclaimer, that these live streams, you know, if you don't want it to be seen, you definitely want to delete your comments. Unless it was all if it was all above ground, that's cool too. So I got our white. If I want like a pink or a blue, I got that. So let me just start with a fairly big brush. And let me start fairly loosely here. This is a really big head. I'm actually kind of intimidated by the size of this head because I don't usually paint this big. But I'm trying to think, how do I want my eyes? It's rule of thirds. So rule of thirds will probably be about right here. So I want one eye to be right about here. Rule of thirds, and the other rule of thirds is going to cut down right about here. So if I have the eyes, rule of thirds, I want the eye right around here. So just starting with some darker shadows here. I'm just going to go. Actually, let me grab a blue here. A lot of my paint is already dried, like overnight. This is annoying. Let me grab some of this blue. I want to keep this brush fairly loose. So let's go, everybody. Orville, Mr. The Fellow. Do I think waitress report every tip? Don't do thirds. Go sixths or ninths. Sixths or ninths. Well, that would basically be thirds. Just a different version of thirds, right? You're just separating. You know what? I wish you had said that just before I started, because I've already got the process of thirds here. So. This will be my biggest head yet. So I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned because I don't know exactly I don't usually paint really big heads. So, you know, and here's the thing is I could trace it, or I could, like, you know, go with the traditional methods of like whatever you call it. What do you call it? Like projecting onto the surface, but I don't want to do that. Cuz I don't think I'm ever going to I don't plan to ever do murals, like really like accurate murals. So, I don't feel the need that I need to like project. But if I was training to one day possibly do a large-scale mural, I would totally consider it. But here we go. I've already got some of my first issues here. So this is going to come down right about here. And it's going to go eyes. And let me see. So that is about the length of an eye. Eye to eye. About the length of one eye here. Length of one eye. That's slightly less. What's that length right there? So I think I might even need to make my eyes a little bigger. Let's go a little bit bigger. This area needs to be much smaller than the actual eye. So and then this eyebrow. We shall see here. And let's grab a little bit of this color again, and we're going to come down. And the nose is probably going to be about the size of the eye right here. Just the shadow, just getting some shadow down right here. This brown is totally not going to work. Where's it at? There we go. All right, finding the wettest part of the brown. So won't I say that the hand is an extension of the mind? Is Omizu a mod? Oh, Omizu is a mod. Oh, yeah. Totally forgot that I gave Omizu the power to control the planet, aka one of my moderators, the only moderator. I totally forgot that I gave Omizu all that power. So those of you who are not ready for things, be prepared that Omizu has power now, and who knows what that's going to entail here. And here we go. Just gonna keep on going with some of these shadows down here. We're gonna go across here. Go right under the nose. And come up. I'm just gonna go down, get the center line right here. But at least it's actually looking like a face, right? At least it's looking like a face already. I'm actually pretty happy about this so far. Usually, you know, my faces don't start to come together this quickly, I swear. This is like a world record. This is like record timing as far as like, you know, what I'm pretty used to as far as how I paint. But let's see, we got our chin right here. It comes up with the fabric, and then we're just gonna go across here. And we're gonna go like right here. This should be like right under the nose. And then let's try to figure out the lips right here. We're gonna go, should be about an eye width, so a little less than an eye width. So we're gonna go like this. If I was to go up, this would go to the eye, the pupils right around there. And then this would go up to the, well, this should actually fill across the nostril here, so. This nostril is a little too pronounced, so I'm gonna reduce the nostril imprint a little bit. But that should be an alignment right there. Yeah, that's some good alignment right there. And let's go down into here. Oh yeah, I wanna improve this. Let's set this down. You know, I was thinking today, the thing that was on my mind today, creatively speaking, we're gonna get a little deep, is, you know, this is one of those things that I'm like, you know, constantly on the search for the combination between, you know, beauty and like the sublime. I don't even, Alexa, what's the definition of sublime?
The word sublime can be used as both an adjective and a noun. As an adjective, it is typically defined as being lofty or elevated in thought or language, and can be applied to poetry, for instance, like Paradise Lost.
There we go. Alexa, off. Yes, constantly in the search of like this mix between the, see, I don't even know what that word means, but anytime you use the word sublime, like, does anybody even really know what the word sublime means? Or do people just use it because it sounds like a cool word to use if you're creative? The sublime. Anyway, I didn't even know what that word meant, but I felt like using it. And, you know, I think that's what I was thinking about today. You know, I'm constantly on this search of like between trying to paint something nice, accurate, beautiful, versus, you know, finding the balance of like just what is beautiful. You know, that sense of beauty. And yes, I guess it comes in the female form. That's right. It does come in the form of a female, in my opinion. I mean, you know, anybody else can chime in with their own definitions of beauty. That's totally fine. I'm not, you know, trying to not the authoritator of beauty or anything, except in my own mind. Alright, so let's go like this. Here we go. Actually, we could probably start adding in light colors now. Okay, let's see. We're gonna find this along her face. That should be this area should be closer to the lip here. So we're gonna bring this, give her slightly bigger lips here, like this, and then right, even bigger lips. Honestly, I think we could go even bigger with these lips here. And if anybody can guess where this is actually based on a movie clip, by the way. So if anybody can guess before the end, before I actually finish this, don't spoil it for everybody. Come on now. Don't spoil it for everybody. Just let me have my moment of pretending like I came up with this brilliant idea all on my own. You know, like I took a photo of the model and I had them pose in this way, and just let me pretend like I did that, right? Don't spoil it for everybody, please. So for those of you wondering, yes, I did pull this from a movie. I did not have hire a model to sit in front of me and stare longingly into my eyes and into the camera so that I could capture this photo. I didn't do that. One day I might, but I didn't do that for this one. So there you have it. You know the secret now. I'm not a brilliant photographer. I just take clips from movies and copy them as paintings. So anyway, that's that. That's the truth. That's the reality of the situation here. If you're looking for, you know, someone who's compositional master, you're in the wrong place. So here we go. I did take the picture with my eyes. Yes, I am using a reference. And you know what? I want to use... Am I sick? No, I just cough a lot. I don't know why. I just have this... I think it's the mineral spirits, particularly for when I work with oil paint. I think the mineral spirits really get to me. That should be about the length of an eye right here. So length of an eye. Should go up past the eye. Actually, you know what? This one I can use like an ochre, like a yellow ochre mixed with this darker color. Let's see. Let's go yellow ochre. Let's go. All right, let me get some more of this burnt umber color. I need it. I need the burnt umber. Ah. So this is the color I've been using for like the darker colors, is a burnt umber. I used to use Van Dyke Brown, but according to James Gurney, Van Dyke Brown is probably one of the worst browns you can use. I don't remember exactly why he said that, but he said it, so I'm just gonna take it at face value because you know what's great is to have experts around, right? To always have books from experts, because it's like you could do all this testing yourself. You know, I could test every single brown that exists, and I could become an expert in that area, but I don't really want to do that. So thank goodness for James Gurney. I can just read his book and find out what works and what doesn't, and I could skip a lot of stuff. Now I know there's some people who are super elite, and they think that they're probably saying, well, you should study every single brown that exists in order to know your materials, but I'm not, so that's not me. So this is going to come up pretty much past the eye here. Let's not be afraid of size. That's one thing that if you're, when you spend a lot of time painting really small, you start to, when it comes to size, you're like, ooh, is that really as big as this is? Is this really how big it's supposed to be? Using mother colors, stretch the whole painting in, then color. What do you mean? You mean fill the whole painting with values? Well, you know, there's one, you know, there's the doing it with like alla prima. You know, alla prima requires a little slightly different like process. Right? Like if you're painting alla prima, you know, you don't have the luxury of like, you know, multiple sessions. And you know, I probably will take multiple sessions. This isn't going to be a one painting session, but just adding in a little bit of yellow. If you're going alla prima, there's definitely let me try to find some highlights now. Actually, midtones. Let me find a nice rose color. Here we go. Perfect. The blush rose. It's the perfect color for our needs. You're not even going into that topic tonight? Emmett was an artist. Maybe just an art maker. Yes. I'm a copyist. The best of the best. I'm a copyist. I do not want to be part of the elite class of painters. Careful with the stuff. The state of California says that stuff may cause cancer. Yeah. Yes, it is true. I am but a copyist. I look at stuff and I copy it. That's it. That's what I do. I look at stuff and I copy. No secrets about it. Alright, I'm definitely going to need some more of this ochre. This burnt sienna, I guess, is the name of the color. Burnt sienna. So we're going to lay that down. And I want to find a good mix between this burnt sienna and this yellow. So we're going to grab some yellow. We're going to put that in sienna, grab some sienna, put it into the yellow. And then, here we go. I know Michael doesn't want me to add color in this early, but too late. I've already begun. The madness has begun, Michael. There's no stopping it from here. The beast has been unleashed. My mind has started upon the journey of adding color. Therefore, it must be obeyed. I must obey what my body wants. My mind's telling me no. I mean, my mind's telling me yes, and so is my body. Michael's telling me no, but my mind is telling me yes. Michael's telling me no, but my mind is telling me yes. I'm really liking this brush, by the way. This brush is... And then let's go for our blush. I want to add like a darker blush, so let's try to find a purple blush here. Nice purple blush. A little bit darker. Let's darken this with It's like a yellow lip, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out, right? Hopefully. See, it's times when like this, when like I'm like, oh, is that actually gonna work? Is that a color that's actually gonna work? I don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully it does. I just hope that it actually works out. So only time you wash canvas if you're outside in the sun. What's my dingy? Oh, Mizu, man. There's a time and place for that. What is a dinghy? All right, let's go grab some blue here. We're gonna mix in our blue and capture like a. I'm gonna capture some cool colors up here. Let's go with some cool colors. Let's keep going with our blush here. We're just gonna go in with our blush and just need some red. Let me grab some red here. Or I guess, look, I got a magenta. Or quinacridone violet. I got violet. I don't need red. I just need to darken this a little bit though. So I need to darken quinacridone violet. Let's go. Let's go. We got a nice purple here. So let's go right into this lip right here. And then let's go. This blush, go across the top of the eyes here. Maybe widen this a little bit. And then let's see, this one. Let's go into the nose. I'm gonna grab some of our white blush. Get some of the cool colors into here. And all I'm really hoping right now is that I didn't make the nose like, I hope I got the nose shape right. That's my goal. Got the nose shape right, I'm good. Red and white mixed together and toned down. Now I'm whitewashing. Make up my mind with what? What am I not? Lay down the color. Don't need to do all the extra brush work. Overworking. I don't know. I feel like my brush work's being spontaneous. Brushwork is the spontaneity, isn't it? Is that not spontaneous? You're all right though. I probably do paint like a maniac sometimes. It could drive people nuts. Painting like a maniac. Let's get some rose. And here we go. And then let's see, what's a good color for this? Like just a really pale yellow? No, let's stick with this. Let's stick with the rose here. And then here we go. So drives your neighbor nuts when you paint. I drive everybody nuts when I paint. Who doesn't go crazy when I paint? If you're not driven nuts by the way I paint, we're not watching the same thing. Actually, you know what? Let me fill this with a nice. What color should I do? And go with the white blush. And a little bit of mineral spirits just so I can get a nice easy spread here. What are you doing, cats? What are the cats doing? What the heck is going on? What you doing, bro? What are the cats doing? Yeah, I don't know how to. You know, it's funny because like Omizu's like giving me some great tips here. He's giving me some great advice, and I'm like, dude, I don't. My hands do not work that way. My hands do not do what you're telling me that they need to do. And I think there's a little too big of a gap between the mouth and a nose. I tend to do that a lot. The gap between the nose and the mouth. So we're gonna have to do something here to close that up. Let's add our highlight here and just see how we can. No, I don't want to add the highlights. What should I do? Let's see. Let's find. It's not even that. Let's go like this. Come around. Should really be like this, around this area here. That's where her nose, her lip should end. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. That's okay, because we're painting, which means with oil paint, I could keep doing stuff for hours. And I could do stuff for hours and the paint wouldn't be dry. And that gives us a lot of time to adjust and modify. Not my hands, my brain. Block the painting in. Throw on paint. Yes. I'm trying to throw on the paint. What do you mean throw on the paint? That's what I'm doing. How much more paint do you want me to throw on? You know, I had a talent agent. I had a talent agent for acting, and they would always say to me, almost every time I got a new headshot, they would say to me, "That doesn't even look like you," and it would be so annoying to me because, like, it's not like I AI edited my headshots, so they would always complain that my headshots never look like me, which, you know, I don't know what to think about that because, at the end of the day. I don't know how I can not look like me. Is the issue that I had, is the issue that I took away. So let's see. We're gonna go with some blue here. We're gonna come into the eyes and come in right into here. Finally do some of the eye here. The hill of the beans isn't worth the hill of the beans. What beans are you talking about, man? There's no beans here. What beans are you talking about? Okay, this lip is going to bother me, so I need to, once and for all, I want to get the lips right. So here we go. We're going to go back in. We're going to go paint with a nice dark shadow, and I want to get this lip here. Should just barely go past the right here. Like so. Like that. Why did I use blue? I don't know. And then the rest of the lip, this is pretty much the size of the lip here. And then the rest of the lip is going to come down. deep into here. Deep into here. Ba-bam, ba-bam. Hey, take care, Michael. You be fantastic now. Let me go. Let's go. Let's take this. Just take this blush like all the way here. I'm gonna grab more blush. More of this blush color here. I'm gonna lay it down right here. This is why people don't like to paint outdoors. It's because people are like, oh, you inevitably have the artist that walks by that has the best of intentions, like, hey, you got to do this. You got to do it. You got to do this. But I actually love that. You know, sometimes I actually hear something, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. Sometimes. A lot of times, my viewers are the best viewers ever. And they give me ideas that are just absolutely spectacular, wonderful. Amazing, amazing ideas. Uh-oh, look at that drippage. What does that mean? What does the drippage mean? What could it possibly mean? Does that mean I've totally messed up the painting? Does it mean that I have a little bit of a purple running down. We get some purple running down here. Some nice cool colors. I don't know, is purple considered a cool color? Yeah, I think it's considered a cool color. 3 cool colors, 3 warm colors, right? Let's add more of this purple here. Yeah, I guess when you paint big, one thing that I'm realizing now, especially for a big face, you really gotta be comfortable laying down the paint, baby. Laying down the paint. I'm just gonna let it drip here. Let's just let it drip and enjoy the process of just allowing the color to enjoying the process here. Dude, amazing. That's awesome, man. I love armchair painters. Armchair painters are the best. Especially when they actually have some good advice. Because every once in a while, you know, like some of the things that people that armchair painters say, it clicks and it makes sense. You know, they don't always make sense, but sometimes they do. And when they do, that's when you're like, oh, I'm so glad for the armchair painter. He's not going to charge me for it? Well then. I definitely think I'm going to need some blues to really make this area stand out. Look at all these passionate brushwork. This brushwork is passionate, people. There's passion in these brushworks. There's meaning, there's life. Not AI. There's passion in this. Honestly, I'm almost ready to just like leave this color and like, you know, it's actually got a feel to it. You know, there's drama to this. There's drama. I like it. This is drama, baby. Drama. There's a lot of drama in this painting already. All right, let's see. We're gonna grab. We need some more white. I use so much white. Who wants to buy me some more white paint? Who wants to buy me some more white paint? Just kidding. Always in need of white. All right, let's go like this. We're gonna grab our white here. Let's grab our yellow. Grab a nice big chunk of white. Dip it in our mineral spirit. Let's go white up here. White yellow. That's a white yellow. There's a white yellow light here. I love these drippy things. I love how it just drips. All right, here we go. What did Michael said? A butt's hill, a hill's butt. He said, Michael said that brushwork ain't worth an anthill or a molehill or something. It ain't worth an ant's butt. Michael says the darndest things. Michael Wilbur says the darndest things. All right, we're gonna go like this. We're gonna bring in a little bit. Bring in this right here. Let's go. Scrub it. Make it a little bit darker. There's so much splatter all over my painting. This is a very messy painting, by the way, people. You can see all the splatter all around my painting, all over. I'm almost tempted to just leave it at this and call it a night, because this is beautiful. I love this painting. Who is this mysterious woman? Has anybody guessed yet? Does anybody know who this could possibly be? Probably not, because it doesn't look like her. But if you do guess, that'd be amazing. Yeah, there's too much purple. This is like a very I feel like this painting looks very very dark and mysterious. Oh, here's what we need. It's not supposed to be this it's like a very goth looking. I don't want to say goth. Is dark the right word? Like she's got these purple and it's got these like cool colors on her. That's not the word I'm looking for. Not goth, but like it's got this I think the purples give it this feel. The purples give it this feel that is not necessarily the intent. All right, let me clear off some of these paint boogers. They're gonna bother me. So what are paint boogers? Paint boogers are what happen when you don't keep your palette totally clean on a regular basis. And you let the paint dry. And basically, if you try to collect paint from some of those areas, what happens is you get these little chunks of paint that are dry. So they don't go on your canvas. And you can either leave them on as part of the texture, or you can be like a perfectionist and never have them in the first place. As a super atelier fine artist would do, they would never leave a paint booger on a surface. Or, if you don't like paint boogers, they're pretty easy to basically pick off. Just look at it from an angle, and you just see these little pieces, and you just pick them off. And it all depends on what you want to do. Sometimes they can actually add texture. Sometimes, they ruin a surface. And although I don't think they're necessarily totally ruining my painting right now, I don't really want them on here for this one. Some of them are okay. I don't mind some paint boogers, but I just don't want too many. All right, let's get more into, oh yeah, let's get some of these facial features again. I'm gonna get some of this rose blush, rosé blush. We need to get into the eyes here. A little bit lighter than the white. Just a little bit lighter than the white here. I'm just going to come down. Let's go. At some point we're going to merge some more of this, but I want to keep these shadows in at least for a few more moments. Let's come down here. Let's bring in a purple, which is what we worked on earlier. We want to get a nice quinacridone violet going on here around the eyes. So we're going to come right into here and I'm just using a big brush right now. We're not, going for. She's using a big brush right now. As Michael Wilbur had so kindly put it earlier, or Mizu said it, I don't remember who, I kind of lose track. It's like the two of them are like hive minds. They just like, both of them could be, there's like a hive mind of some sort. But one of them said something about, where was I even going with this? One of them said something about keep a big brush. Is that? I think someone said that. Someone probably said that. I don't think I'm imagining it. Someone probably said, yeah, use a big brush. Keep a big brush. And then let's go. And let's go with these lips here. I gotta figure out this lip system, this lip thing right here. And we're gonna soften this area right here. You know what? I think I need to go smaller on the brush now. Actually, I could add a little bit of, could lighten up some of this area right here. An area around the eye. And the other eye, add in some white here. All right, let's clean off this brush. I think we should go smaller now. Actually, you know what? Let me clean off. I want to tighten up this hair. Space with the hair here. These golden strands of hair, as I like to call it, the golden strands. Let me go with a different strategy here. Use some nice, big, juicy, wet paint brush. So what I'm doing is I'm going into my mineral spirits, and that basically helps to loosen up the paint a little bit, or it makes it more, makes the paint like wetter, looser, thinner. Thinner is the appropriate term. If you're a real oil painter, you use the word thinner. But I like to say loosen up. It loosens up the paint because the molecule, like that's what it's doing, right? The molecules are becoming loosened. Their bond isn't as tight when you add in mineral spirits. Like thinning just makes it sound so, yeah. Why do people use the word thin? Because that's the appropriate word, right? You're thinning the paint, making it thinner as opposed to thicker. But I'm going to change things. Why not say something a little different, you know? Let's add a nice yellow highlight just coming down like right. Boom. All right, let's get a little bit of a smaller brush here. And actually, it's 9:11. We're gonna take a break after this. Take a break for the night. We're just gonna do a little bit more. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do this part. I feel like I could still use that bigger brush, but we're not going to. Let's go with this. Let's go with this color now. And we're just gonna go highlight across the lip here. And then let's just add an ultra light. And then let's add a shadow. How do we get the shadow in here? We're gonna go dark blue. Let's grab our blue here. We're just gonna do a really dark. Let's go with this brown. And we're gonna go right into here, right under the lip. And then let's keep working with some of these shadows here. I want to add some design to these eyebrows. Actually, that's probably not gonna, this probably won't do too much. These eyebrows look way bigger. Eyebrows look way bigger on here than they do in the actual image, but that's all right. I'm gonna go try to keep these shadows moving, bring back in some of these shadows here. Let's go. I'm gonna go get a nice dark quinacridone violet here. Let's get this quinacridone violet here. Now let's add a couple like little white highlights so we can make this lip look a little bit more normalized. What does even normal mean, huh? What does normal even mean? What's normal nowadays? I have a feeling this lip is going to cause me some issues, but I'll keep building this up and then we'll see. And eventually, hopefully something will click and it'll all look okay. No, she's not dead. She's a living human being. She's got all these purples. I guess this is just what I saw, you know? Just what I see in the image that I'm using, that I'm referencing. And I just can't help myself but to paint this in this fashion. So I would like to give it a little bit less of like a haunting feel. Like she's got these like purples that make her look not dead. That's not the right word, but just like it just gives this like, I don't know, what's the right word? Like gothic feel, and that's not the intent of this painting. So I do have some correcting to do. Like this shadows, you know, the shadows doesn't need to be there. And then let's find our white here. And I'll highlight on the nose. Doesn't need to be that bright though. So let's go ahead and grab our color again. Let's go boom. Let's see, from here to the top of the lip here. We're going to grab a few moments here. I'm probably going to wrap up on this for tonight. I can tell when I start to like lose my focus. Yeah, I think now's a good time to call this a wrap. So we got about an hour and a half in, and we still got a lot of time left with this. Gonna let this layer dry. it'll be good to come back to this and, you know, have a fresh eye. But honestly, I've been slacking on painting a little bit. I can be honest with myself about it, and you know, good to have another painting back that I'm, you know, able to work on for a little while. This might be a whole new series, of paintings. But yes, we are wrapping up right now. Everybody, thanks for popping into this live stream. And where I really like where the how much drama's in this right now. I feel like it's a very dramatic. I mean, you know, it all came from the reference. It's my reference that's dramatic. But I like where it's at. I like the character, the figure. Very powerful, I think. But you know, thanks to my reference. It's not my credit. I have to find out who the cinematographer of this movie is and thank them for this reference. But with that, hey, people, Omizu, you're the best, man. Omizu is the greatest of all time of something. I don't know exactly what. I can make something up. Omizu is the GOAT of armchair painting. No, just kidding, man. You're a great artist. Omizu's a great artist. Check out his channel, and all the other people. Dondrell, Michael, everybody. Take care. Have a good night.